Is the state capitol haunted? To answer that question, videographer Mike Burke and producer Rebecca Lindstrom went on a ghost hunt with members of the Ghost Research Foundation and Durham's Rhine Research Center. The two organizations did a training workshop last fall and say they gathered enough data to warrant another visit, this time for a full investigation.
Slight temperature change by my hand. Okay. Just slight.
In the dead of night, dozens of investigators comb the state capitol searching for ghosts.
Why are you so upset?
In the library, the House chambers, the hallways and stairs. These men and women have traveled to Raleigh to determine once and for all whether this building is haunted.
There are some strange things that cannot be explained that happen in this building.
Like the voices of 100 people talking all at once. Voices so loud, Dutchie Sexsmith says after a long, hard day at work, she decided to give up and go home.
So I closed up my office, and when I walked out into the upper rotunda, I looked down and I could still hear activity. It wasn't like chain shaking or anything scary. It was just doors opening, footsteps, voices. And as I walked down these stairs, about midway, it was quiet.
It was then Dutchie realized she was completely alone. And then there's the library.
And when I got about right where I'm standing right now, I was frightened for no reason at all. I had a hair raising on the back of my neck. I was cold, clammy. I felt like I had broken out into a cold sweat.
On the night we investigated, several other people reported the same experience.
She's up there. She's crying. Can you hear her?
We did. Listen to the sounds after the investigators' next question.
What is it that you need from that book?
Sounds were also recorded in the Senate chamber. And while Civil War era music played in the background, several orbs were reportedly caught on camera.
In an old building like this one, it's pretty easy to get creeped out, especially when everybody keeps telling you it's haunted. I did a pretty good job of distancing myself from the ghost hunt until all of a sudden it happened. I heard loud wheezing sounds coming from somewhere in this area. Rather than investigate, I walked away.
But an investigator did go over to the stairs and caught these ghosts on film. That's right. Forget everything Hollywood has told you about ghosts. In the real world, ghosts are represented by a ball of light, a scratchy sound on a tape.
That's why we use this. It's very low level. It'll pick up your cosmic radiation, your background radiation off.
Or something as simple as a change in the room's temperature or radiation reading. That's because there are 16 different levels of ghost, all the way from a presence simply sensed to an interactive entity that can talk, take shape, and move objects. Scott Crownover says that's why it's so important to review evidence critically. He remembers one picture given to him by a woman in Pennsylvania, claiming to document an evil ghost staring into her window. Scott says the devil was in the details.
However, when I enlarged it, in the middle of this evil red orb, it said stop. There's a stop sign at the intersection of Route 30 and 31, and that's what she caught, the reflectiveness of the stop sign, picked up on the film, and from the very small, she just jumped at the conclusion it was an evil red orb.
Even I have to wonder just what makes up a ghost. We were given this video of the group's first visit to the Capitol. They say it shows signs of paranormal activity. Admittedly, you have to squint to find it. But if you believe this dot could be a ghost, then perhaps we caught two on tape as well. This was taken with our infrared camera in the balcony of the House chamber. Look at it again. We can't explain it. But does that mean it's a ghost?
What we're trying to say is that there is something, whether it's natural energy that we just aren't aware of at this moment in time, or the human soul, but there is something that is going on that reasonable, rational people have been experiencing, and yet these people are suddenly feeling like quacks and kooks and nuts.
Almost all of these researchers have day jobs. They are insurance agents, school teachers, and musicians. They admit mistakes can be made. That aside, most agree this place is haunted, and perhaps with good reason.
You have to realize that in this building, the Civil War actually began with the secession convention that was held here in May of 1861. 4 years of war, all of the decisions, all of the legislation are being carried out in this building. You have not only governmental but military activities taking place here in the building.
I know. So
Even after the ghost hunt ends, these researchers say they'll have plenty of questions.
Matter and energy can't be destroyed. They only change forms. So after death, what happens to that energy? Yes, the matter is there, but what happens to the energy?
Perhaps blips and blobs will someday provide us with answers. Until then, staffers say they know their late-night experiences are real, even if they can't bring the evidence into the light of day.
Rebecca tells us ghost hunts usually happen at night because it's easier to monitor sounds in a building when it's empty.